how to fail at a card cake and learn from it. As you see directly here, the recording quality is not the best. It has been a few years. And yet I want to share with you how I made this cake for my husband's birthday without him knowing that I'm making it. It was super challenging because first, I got barely 4 hours to make the whole deal. And second, I wasn't experienced in this at all. Thank God I baked double of my chocolate sponge cake and 1 portion for the smaller one to get the height right. As you see here, I'm having a printout to check the dimensions, and let me just tell you my first mistake. Don't use a pattern for what you want it to look like. I mean, here the finished product. I knew it would be bigger, but I didn't calculate right, and considering the side mirrors, oh boy, I messed up those bad. So that's definitely my first step for you guys. Not to say that I'm a professional or anything, but you can learn while doing. I filled up the cake with stuff that my hubby likes and contrasts with the chocolate flavor a bit. I really like the chocolate bits as a different texture. That's my second tip. Have some different textures on the cake. It makes it much more interesting. And here's my other mistake. Using paper for stuff that is sticky and all. I mean, you should carve the cake more or less with only the cake itself and not all the buttercream and other fillings inside. I still do that from time to time, but now I at least know that I should let the cream inside harden a bit and not just go in willy-nilly. The cake will just slide around and the carving will never be quite right. At least I got the crumb coating right. That's something. Crumb coating is important so that the fondant or the buttercream you're using can stick onto its place without crumbs mucking up the whole hard work you invested in. While I let the cake cool off, I got down making the details of the card that I would need. Yeah, one of the few things that I stick to nowadays as well. Oh, those side mirrors make me cringe so bad because I didn't consider the depth of the photo, so I just cut it out and made it, but thank God I later saw that they were just way off to be any good. The whole dimension thing goes for the tires as well. I mean, obviously they get crushed down a bit when they're beneath the cake. Yeah, you'll see me fixing that in the video as well. Just I want you to consider beforehand the dimension, thinking 3D on a 3D cake. I know this sounds like a no-brainer, but needed to tell that. I didn't want the fondant cover to be overwhelming, so I rolled it out pretty thin. And there goes your next tip. Don't roll out the fondant too thin. While handling it, it will stretch here and there, however fast you try to handle it. It just would be a shame if right in the middle of your cake there's an ugly elephant skin or even tears. As the fondant here is red, the elephant skin is not too visible on screen, but I remember I had to patch up quite a few things off camera just to get an even coat of fondant. Fancy me using piping gel to stick the details onto the cake, which, fair enough, is not a bad thing if you don't overdo it. I did overdo it and it slid around. So, my other tip, just use a tad of water. It sticks just as well and it is easier to control the amount of. I really wanted to make that silvery outline with fondant, but I was running out of time fast, so I opted to paint those with some luster dust and extract, and I just can't stress this enough. Take your time. I was doing this on a crunch, but good stuff takes time. I was really hurrying along here, so that's why it's so messy, and I just must say I'm still cringing here while watching it. The reason why I made this cake in Mercedes is that my husband loves this model in red, and he always says that he eventually will buy one just to cruise around with. A dream that he has since his childhood. I didn't have and still don't have the money to buy him the Mercedes he wants, but this was the least I could do for him. adding all the finishing touches, and if I had the time, I would have loved to make the doors and handles more pronounced, but there was just no way to make those in time. And I'm done. I hate how bulky and weird it looks, and I have solemnly sworn not to make another realistic-ish cake or anything like that. I literally got this done with barely 10 minutes before my husband got home. And this is how I hid it from him so that he can't directly see it. And here is his reaction. Gelir misin? Gel. Şunu açar mısın? La bakmadı ki bile. Açsana şunu. Canım.
Yok.
Adam gibi bakmadı ki. Ya açma, aç. Oğlum açsana. Senin ayağın titriyor. Arkasına ne yazıyor ona bak. It's everything but perfect.
It's perfect.